for joining us. My name is Dr. Jamie Pearson. I'm an assistant professor here at NC State in the Department of Teacher Ed and Learning Sciences, and I am in the special education program area. So we are excited to share with you some resources and opportunities for autistic adolescents. And I have a great panel here with me this morning, and I'm excited for them to all share their work and their experiences as well. So I'll talk more about the FACES program later, but I do run a FACES parent advocacy program, which is designed especially to support historically marginalized families of autistic youth. So I'll share more about that at the end, but I will turn it over to my colleague, Joann, to do a brief introduction of herself.
Yeah, hi, welcome everyone. I'm glad you're here. My name is Joann Blumenfeld. I'm Program Director of Catalyst, creating opportunities for students in STEM, for students with disabilities, and we serve students in grades 9 through 12.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Nicole Anthony, and I'm an assistant professor of special education in the eMERS department, the early childhood, elementary, middle grades reading and special education department at Fayetteville State University. And I'm also the founder of the Autism Advisory Council.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Glenna Osborne, and I'm the Director of Transition Services for the University of North Carolina TEACCH Autism program. And I work with a variety of programs, and we provide, TEACCH is actually an agency that serves individuals from preschool up through, or even younger, toddlers through retirement age, but I specialize in that transition age period. And again, we provide a variety of services for individuals and their families.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So our hope for today is to each spend a few minutes talking about agencies we work with, programs that we run, services we provide, and then really just to have some Q&A, to have a conversation, to engage in discussions about ways to support autistic adolescents. I cannot string this together this week. I've been struggling all week. Okay. Autistic adolescents. So we will move forward with the Catalyst program. So Joann's going to kick us off. And Joann, if you don't mind just telling me next slide, I'll move along.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was thinking about that as we said. So again, my name is Joann Blumenfeld. I'm going to talk to you about two opportunities and programs for you or people you might know. One is called Catalyst and one is called GIST. Both are located at the Science House at North Carolina State University. Both are opportunities for any student in North Carolina. You don't have to live in Raleigh. We have students from all over, from New Bern, Charlotte, everywhere. So, and both are free programs. So next slide. So first, I'm going to talk to you about Catalyst. I'm very proud of this program. I started this program 5 years ago. Again, it's for high school students in grades 9 through 12 who have any disability, who are in the regular education or the OCS program in high school. For next coming session, we're going to be recruiting in February for summer 2022. So Catalyst includes a Saturday session during the school year and a week-long summer session. We also provide paid STEM internships for students that are individualized for each student's need. We have internships from NASA, from NIEH, from different labs at NC State, in different departments, depending on what students want. We provide STEM content and skills, hands-on lab and research projects, field trips. We've been to DC, Boston. This year we're going to Asheville. Mentoring, self-advocacy, workforce readiness, because besides STEM skills, it's important to have those other skills to maintain employment. Paid STEM internships. We help students explore post-secondary options, and it's a multi-year program. We hope to keep students more than 1 year. Typically, our students will start 9th grade and stay with us up to 12th grade. And at that point, we're able to build up their resume well and a lot of their skill sets. And this is a picture of us. Oh, sorry. It's okay. That was a picture of us with First Lady Cooper and Secretary of Commerce Sanders. We also advocate with professionals. We've met with government officials to do a lot of advocacy. We've met with Governor Cooper, Senator Tillis, Governor McCrory, and others. Next slide. So I'm really proud of our program. This is actually us with Governor Cooper when we were headed to MIT. We are a national award-winning program. I'm really proud of that. In all the work our students have done. We have won the National Science Foundation grant with Dr. Pearson, and I'll talk about just in a minute. We won the Program of Excellence Award from the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association. We're the only team ever to win at MIT with all students with disabilities. And we presented at MIT, and the kids received a $10,000 grant to develop their invention. We will be going to the US Patent Office again next year. We're winners of the National Energy and Education Development Project. We went to the US Patent Office, but most importantly, all our seniors are doing well in post-secondary STEM pathways, whether in college or for apprenticeships or what, depending on what they want. We also received a letter of commendation from President Obama. So I'm proud of all these awards because the students worked really hard to get them. And it just shows with good quality programming, the sky's the limit in accomplishments. Next slide. The next program I want to tell you about is the GIST program. This is with Dr. Jamie Pearson. It's connecting students with autism to geographical information systems. Again, this also is a free program. It's for students in grades 9 and 10 with autism in public or charter schools. You're going to learn drone piloting, live and VR simulation training, get a $200 stipend, small group and individualized mentoring, asynchronous and in-person learning. It's a multi-year program. We are going to have workforce readiness skills too. And we're starting to recruit now. We're going to have open houses, hopefully in October, for a start date of January 2022. And I'll be happy to answer questions at the end. Thanks. Oh, one more slide, so sorry. We have wonderful programs here at Science House. I just wanted to mention, they're not specific for people with disabilities or with autism, but you're welcome to participate. We have Imhotep, it's for middle school students. It's during the school year and summer. Chiron Academy for elementary students during the summer. Science House also runs the Science Olympiad for elementary, middle, and high school students. We have an Ag Discovery program in the high school, for high school students in the summer. And also, just be sure you check out, there's a lot of programs at NC State University, from the engineering place to nuclear engineering. There's a lot of programs that you can also participate in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joann.
Yeah.
Also, I can't remember if you said this in your intro. Did you share with them your background in the classroom?
Oh, no, I didn't. I've worked 21 years as a science and special education teacher at Wake County Public Schools. I've been on a lot of advisory boards, from the School of Math and Science to the Museum of Natural Science. I've written a lot of curriculum. I've had a lot of fellowships. My last one was NASA ambassador. So we're working with NASA now too.
Yesterday, some of our parents had questions about school-based supports and things like that. So I thought that would be helpful for them to know your background, so that later during our Q&A, you might be able to answer some of those as well. Awesome. Sure. Thank you so much, Joann. And here's Joann's contact information on the screen. So if you're interested in the Catalyst or GIST programs, definitely feel free to reach out to her, and she will answer all of your questions.
Thank you.
So we're going to move along now to Dr. Nicole Anthony, who's going to talk to us about the Fayetteville State University Autism Advisory Council, as well as her other work, because she's doing a lot.
Oh, so thank you again, Jamie. Thank you, everyone. Let's see, where do I start? Well, again, my name is Nicole Anthony, and I am an assistant professor of special education at Fayetteville State University. I've been in the field, I want to say, 20 or so years. And more importantly, I'm the mom of two absolutely awesome autistic young men, Gabriel, who you probably could hear stimming vocally in the background a little bit, and my oldest son, Elijah. They are my reasons why I do the work that I do in the area of autism, and the reason why I founded the Autism Advisory Council on the campus of Fayetteville State University and HBCU. So what we do at Fayetteville State University with the Autism Advisory Council, we started in 2019, late 2019, and the council is comprised of parents, of students, faculty members, and representatives from the Autism Society of Cumberland County and the Autism Society of North Carolina. And right now, we are in the development phase of creating different programming for families and children impacted by autism in Cumberland County. We developed a needs assessment that we intended to launch spring 2020, but then of course, COVID happened and it impacted many of us. So it kind of threw us through a loop with thinking like, okay, so now how do we figure out and meet the needs of our families? So right now, we're just looking at different ways in which we can create programming for our students because we want to bring them back. What we found just by talking to parents is that there are a lack of services in our area because there are services, but there's such a great need that we can't meet the needs of everyone. So that's what we're about at Fayetteville State University, creating that programming. We are currently writing grants that we hope will get funded. Actually, I'm looking to start a peers social skills training group January 2022. It'll we're doing telehealth. So I'll possibly be recruiting for that peer social skills training. So yes, that's what we're working on right now.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Lots of great work. So again, as we move into our Q&A, if you have more questions for Dr. Anthony about the work that they're doing down at Fayetteville State, she will be happy to take those. So we're going to keep moving along now. And now we have Glenna Osborne, who's going to talk to us about the Awesome Teach program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pearson. And I'm honored to be here among such a distinguished group of individuals. I was just so pleased to hear of all the wonderful things going on. At the TEACCH Autism program, as I said, we do a variety of services. And we started our transition programs probably about 10 years ago now. They really grew out of our employment services as well as our work with educators. And my background is in education. I was a teacher for several years too, and have now been working in the field. It's one of those things I kind of cringe to say it, but it's been now, I checked, over 30 years. So I was like, oh, wow. But very pleased to be here and have learned a lot by being able to watch individuals, autistic individuals grow up and go through that transition period. And then in employment and kind of think back, what could we have done to help them be more successful? And that's the outgrowth of our transition program, which is called the T-STEP. We, via research, found that there was definitely a need for individuals who are autistic but don't have an intellectual disability. There are a variety of programs, and we actually worked with Project Search to help them with autism programs for individuals with intellectual disabilities as well. But the T-STEP program is for individuals who don't have an intellectual disability and who are autistic. And it is a collaboration and partnership with the NC Community College System, North Carolina DVR Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. And also we have right now a grant from the congressionally directed Medical Research Office, which is part of the Department of Defense, has nothing to do with defense, but it is a funding source. And so we're very thankful that we actually are in the process of researching our program as well. So that's been a really significant part of our work. Our work is always evidence-based and research-driven, and then we are actually doing research on this particular program. So next slide, please. So just to tell you a little bit about the T-STEP program, it is for 16 to 21-year-olds, and our thoughts is this particular group of students, as I said, our research shows us that they have very few services, and that of the services, they're not as effective as we would hope they would be, because we're seeing a lot of individuals end up as being underemployed and as not making the salaries of others, their peers, etc. So there are a lot of issues that we think with supporting this group of folks to be able to achieve what they want to achieve. So our program is a college class, a community college class, that teaches a variety of skills in different areas. And it's unique in that we not only teach skills, but we give skills and strategies to individuals to help them to create their own strategies as they're moving into their adult life. So we really see it as early intervention for adulthood, if you will, as a way to say, here's what you need to be successful in adulthood. We've pulled the research, we know what employment's going to look like, and we want to teach you how to do these skills yourself, rather than us just using the skills and strategies with you. So we teach individuals how to do all of the things that as teachers, we were doing for them and with them. And it goes across a variety of skill areas. We also have an internship embedded, so they get a lot of students who have been focusing primarily on academics, get that first step into the internship world. And our internship is an opportunity too for community college faculty and staff to learn about working with individuals who are autistic. So we really see that as a win-win all the way around. We also work with individuals in the community as internship supervisors. So we work with a variety of different groups for that. And then we connect with the community college staff as a form, again, of training and opportunity to learn about working with the autistic individuals, as well as to help the autistic students learn how to connect with career counseling, academic advising as higher education counseling, and then accessibility services as self-advocacy. So we really see it as we're coming from both sides of supporting individuals to learn more about different strategies to help neurodiverse learners, as well as helping our neurodiverse learners learn about the strategies that we've been, that we know about in our educational systems. Next slide, please. Again, I mentioned 16 to 21-year-olds can participate in the program. You need to have a diagnosis of ASD. It can be a school diagnosis via an IEP or 504 plan. It can be a diagnosis that you've received from a practitioner in some way as well. We are looking to students who have average to above average intelligence, because that seems to be a group of students who really don't have services and who need some different kinds of supports that we're learning with our research. Again, our criteria may vary because we do team up with the community college system, and different community colleges have different kinds of criteria that we need to work with, as well as our funding systems. And if you're interested, I'll drop my
Glenna, I think you mute exit. Well, it looks like you might have hit your volume or something. You're not.
I did. I'm so sorry. I muted myself. Thank you. But I just dropped my email in the chat, as well as there's an email on the PowerPoint here. We also provide services for adolescents and adults in a variety of other ways. So if you're interested in other kinds of services, please contact your local TEACCH community organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Glenna, there's a TEACCH location in how many different, like basically in every region, right?
There is. We have a center in Asheville that serves kind of the mountainous region of our state. We have a center in Charlotte. We have a center in Raleigh. We have a center in Chapel Hill. And we have a center in Greenville, North Carolina, and in Wilmington, North Carolina. And they all serve the surrounding counties.
Thank you so much. All right, well, it is my turn. So again, I'm Dr. Jamie Pearson. I'll talk a little bit about FACES, and then again, I'd love for us to just kind of have a conversation and answer questions. So FACES stands for Fostering Advocacy, Communication, Empowerment, and Support. And so, you know, I started this work, I actually started out as a home-based provider supporting autistic students in one-on-one environments. And, you know, with some of the families that I supported probably 10, 12 years ago, I started to notice some disparities in the amount of access some families had to services and supports as compared to others. And so this was sort of the impetus of my work around supporting historically marginalized autistic youth and their families, and trying to make sure that we increase equity and accessibility to autism services. So we developed FACES particularly to address those needs. And so we've served about 300 to 400 Black and Brown families over the past 4 years through our FACES trainings, through our community-based programming. So like folks like Glenna have been a part of those Meeting Faces events and trainings where we bring families together. But the thing that's very exciting about Faces for us is that it builds an opportunity for historically marginalized families to come together and to meet other families and other autistic youth who look like them and who have shared experiences, and they build a sense of community. So we've had participants who are able to then go on and they kind of continue their own support groups. So we have a lot of parents who are like, I'm really trying to find a support group that feels like a good fit for me. So they kind of go on and continue those. We have autistic youth who have sort of facilitated their own play groups or like young adult groups where they're able to share interests and engage in activities that they all enjoy. So this year we are really excited because Faces is funded by the U.S. Department of Education. We got an early career grant to continue to build on this program. And so we will be we're in the early stages of development, but in the next year or so, we'll start to actually recruit autistic youth and their families to participate as well. But we're really excited about our opportunities to really just collaborate and engage with other community-based agencies and to make contacts with families. I'll click very quickly on our website, and then I'll also put my information in the chat. Can you see the screen still? Okay, so this is our Faces website, and we talk here about, what Faces is. We have an awesome team of research. I have a collaborator who's now down at Francis Marion, Dr. Jarrett Stewart Ginsburg, and then an awesome team of research assistants who are all working to help support our Faces program. I'm stopping on Lonnie because his picture triggered something that I wanted to share. We are going to be hosting a community event in November, so our flyers will be coming out pretty soon. And this is just going to be a Faces community event where we want to bring any and everyone together who is autistic or an autistic provider or family member, just to kind of have a safe, fun day at a park in Raleigh. So be on the lookout for those details. I will share my contact information. And if you're interested, you can reach out and I'll make sure you get that information. But we try to do a balance of, we do research, but we also just like to engage in community building and creating spaces for families to come together. So Lonnie is planning that. And again, as soon as we have the flyer ready, I will share that information. We also have on our website, so community outreach events. This is where you'll be able to find information like that. Our team is participating in the Triangle Run and Walk for Autism here in a couple weeks. And so you'll see us there in our shirts, different links about Faces in the news and the grants that we've gotten and different programming that we have going on. And then we recently got an agreement from our library here at North Carolina State to work on building up our resource repository so that families have access to autism-related services throughout their, anywhere throughout the 100 counties in North Carolina. Sometimes it's a little tricky being able to identify services. I know TEACCH and Autism Society have worked to really do that as well. So we're working to create kind of a one-stop shop, if you will, where families can go and find the supports that they need. So that's kind of a quick and dirty overview of the Faces program. And again, I'll share my contact information in the chat. But I think we would love for this to just be an opportunity for you all to kind of have a question and answer session related to parenting, related to, supports, community engaged supports, whatever you all would like to discuss. We're happy to answer your questions. Let's see. Any questions? I know yesterday's group had a couple questions about school-based supports. So I think, if it's okay with the rest of the panelists, I'm just going to allow everyone to talk again, unless you specifically want to use a chat.
Mhm.
It just makes it a little bit easier.
Sure.
And if you want to use the chat, we'll be responsive to those as well. So the first question in the chat while we're getting this set up is, what counts as a formal diagnosis? Are assessments okay? Do you need the several $1,000 medical routes? Anybody want to take that on?
Well, I think each program is different, but I will say for Catalyst and GIST, and I don't want to speak for Nicole or Glenna, we just take any kind of assessment pretty much. We're pretty open about that. Our program, though, I will say we are funded through, Catalyst is funded through NC Vocational Rehab. So you do have to qualify under their criteria. But they are worked with us and they're quite flexible about different kinds of documentation, and we'll work with you individually on that. They also have a trained psychologist on staff that can help with getting some of the documentation needed.
Bethany, are you wondering just sort of in general or for specific programs? And I'll just add on to that while they're typing. So school, we typically refer to both formal or medical diagnoses and then school-based or educational diagnoses. And so there are cases where students may receive a school-based identification or diagnosis. In other instances, students or autistic individuals may go through the medical route. And so again, depending on what service you're trying to receive or what sort of supports you have, that might determine which route you go. We've seen with historically marginalized students that they're often not being diagnosed until their school age. So they often receive that educational diagnosis or identification and go through that screening process. There isn't necessarily one that's better than the other. I do think there are some programs that do require specific sort of forms of diagnosis, but it looks different for everyone.
There's a question. I am a mother of a 17-year-old high school boy, and I'm interested in the T-STEP program. He is a senior in high school, and we do not think he will be ready for college next year. He has NVLD, ADHD, and will be evaluated next week for ASD. I also could use a referral to a therapist in the Raleigh area who could help him as he deals with depression and anxiety.
Great, and I guess I'll jump in on this at least at first, folks. So I would definitely call our information. Look on, I just dropped a link to the T-STEP program with more contact information, but I would definitely contact our referral component and talk with them about the T-STEP program. It sounds like your son is the type of individual who would fit for the program. But if we feel like it's not a good fit for any reason, we definitely will talk with you about other resources that we're aware of, including some of these wonderful resources mentioned here. And regarding mental health therapeutic supports, counseling supports, we do have a referral and resource specialist at our Raleigh Teach Center, and that person would be glad to talk with you about possible counselors with whom we've worked, who we think might be a good support, as well as we also have a DBT, a dialectical behavior therapy group at our Wake County Teach Center. A Raleigh Teach Center. So I would definitely call the Raleigh Teach Center and check with them.
Let's see, other questions here. And I did drop the FACES link and my contact information there.
And Nancy also mentioned, thanks Nancy, that that the Autism Society of North Carolina also can help with information about therapists. Mm-hmm. So two great resources.
Absolutely. How can we get testing for abilities and skills related to employment?
Well, NC Vocational Rehab will help with that. In our Catalyst program, we do testing for kids so they can learn about different careers and focuses based on their individual needs. So I would suggest going to NC Vocational Rehab to start. and then working elsewhere. Wake Tech also has free vocational testing you can take. It's like surveys, and you can go in anytime as long as you're in high school. Actually, you don't even have to wait to college. And I'm sure the other community colleges have similar programs.
And yes, and I see somebody I was just gonna say, somebody texted in, will vocational rehabilitation also help work with adults? They will. And then one other thing I just wanted to add, in addition to what Joann's saying, is that we find that a lot of times what's challenging for individuals, autistic individuals, are those soft skill areas, which are harder to kind of get at what's going on there and how do you test for work habits and work attitudes and things like that. So when you're thinking about assessment, vocational assessment, I would just encourage you to look at a place and either talk with rehabilitation folks, and or at Teach we work on how do we assess those soft skills. So really trying to get at, again, what are those other kinds of skills that we need to think about for success in adulthood for individuals on the spectrum.
And the only other thing I also would suggest, start early. So when we met Temple Grandin, one of the best things she said is she worked from a young age. That's one of her keys to success, for example. So at Catalyst, and there are other programs, T-STEP, others, we give the kids paid STEM internships starting in 9th grade. And those experiences help them realize if they really do enjoy. I had a student at a genetics lab who decided she doesn't want to work in a lab now. Well, that's just as a positive experience as not, because on paper she thought she would. So it's really important for kids to have experiences with working, and those experiences help build your resume, but also give you those workforce readiness skills. At Catalyst, and I'm sure T-STEP and many other programs, we teach basic workforce readiness skills, because those are things most kids, even if they're not on the spectrum, don't necessarily have those good skill sets yet. So we keep working on those.
And I just wanted to add that if your child is between the ages of 14 and 21, you really need to have these conversations in an IEP meeting, because it can be a part of the transition plan, right? Exactly who would be doing the assessments. So you want to make sure that it's a part of a solid transition plan and the goals align for your child to make sure that he or she is successful after leaving high school. So make sure you have these conversations during those IEP meetings to make sure that you have a solid transition plan and goals that align. So if it's vocational rehabilitation training, wherever you're getting, just make sure it's a part of the IEP plan.
And the only other recommendation I personally would make as a special ed teacher and also as a program director is aim high. COVID has taught us all one thing. There are so many different work environments now. So don't have anybody in the school system or anywhere aim your child to just do a job that might be repetitious or easy for them to learn. We have kids in Catalyst now becoming meteorologists, nuclear engineers. So there's such a wide range of opportunities, and there's so many different environments now for the workplace that students with autism can succeed in. So please aim high and make sure you're getting high quality skills, and don't underestimate your abilities, because I'm always amazed at the abilities of our kids.
The actual research, I'm so glad Joann said that too, because just to throw this in there with research, that the research shows us that students whose parents have a higher bar for them to achieve, but it's a reasonable bar, do tend to meet those expectations and to be more successful, as well as your comment about working. That's our research also shows us that students who work at some point or have some kind of a volunteer job that's like work before they graduate are much more likely to be employed earlier. So that's another, I think, just bit of research that really informs us the importance of those work experiences.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. There was one more question I wanted to make sure we get before it scrolls down too far. Oh, someone had a specific question about like middle and high schools in Wake County, I believe. Honestly, I usually kind of stray away from giving specific school suggestions just because it changes so much from year to year. And we can tell you one school, you know, and there's so much turnover, et cetera. I think, you know, really trying to make connections with schools that you might be interested in, and with other families. That's where we've often seen the best connections, is connecting with other families who have autistic youth in those schools. I don't know if Joann, you or Glenna might have more feedback about the Wake County area.
Well, Wake County has some great schools. We have good AST support in a lot of schools. The other suggestion I would consider, at least in high school, we have some great 5-year high schools, which tend to be smaller environments. You know, they would only have 300 or 400 kids per grade versus 1,000, you know, and those small environments tend to be a little bit more beneficial for a lot of kids. Some kids do prefer big environments. The key is to talk to your teachers and your case managers, and do not hesitate to call them to make sure your needs are met.
Absolutely. Any other? So while if you all want to think of other questions, we're happy to answer those. One of the things or sort of topics I thought I would also share is around the importance of self-care for parents and caregivers. I know that so many of you, even we can tell by the types of questions that you're asking, that you are very strong advocates, that you work hard to support your children. And so we also want to remind you of the importance of self-care for parents and caregivers. And so I don't know if other families or other parents have strategies. Part of FACES, we actually include a session specific to self-care and how do we work through sometimes the challenges that you might face as a parent of an autistic youth, not that as a negative thing, right? But balancing all of the challenges of parenting as well. So we just encourage you to keep that in mind, to make sure that even as you are advocating, as you're supporting your children, that we think about ways to support yourselves as well.
One thing, tagging on what Jamie said, which is so important, and I'm so glad you said that, is start letting your kids self-advocate, especially high school age students. Sometimes we do offer paid STEM internships for the kids. Sometimes the parent will email me about that STEM job. I'm like, no, you're not the employee. So it's really trying to let back, to give your children that freedom to learn. And sometimes they will make mistakes, but that's okay. We all make mistakes. But it's very important students and children and adults learn to self-advocate. That's why we've had advocacy sessions with the government where they advocate for their needs and what they want, and they have their own voice. And I think that's important, and that will help with what Jamie said, so you don't feel like all the pressure's on you. And the kids can learn this, and you know they'll be independent in the future.
I just noticed.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just noticed in chat, and I was going to try to just address one of those questions and leave that to other folks too. Maybe someone asked about smaller colleges in North Carolina that are particularly good at serving students who are neurodiverse. And I was starting to type in, but thought this might be helpful. I think it's helpful to have a series of questions and information that you're looking for as you're looking around at different programs, college programs, as well as vocational programs, just any kind of programs. And I'm glad to share that if that would be helpful. So just contact me if that would be helpful. Because I do think, as we've all been saying, I think it really is about the fit. And if you've got a group individuals, I've always said a grouping of autistic individuals is the most heterogeneous grouping of individuals. That person who coined the saying, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism, was right on the money in regard to, I think you really need to kind of have some ideas in mind of what you're looking for, what you think would be a good fit, what makes a good program, and then do a lot of looking around. So again, I'm happy if folks want to email me, share kind of a beginning template of, here are some good questions to ask, and here are some components of what research has shown is a quality program.
And I would say too, I would just tag on that, and that's great advice from Glenna, we try to sometimes encourage our students to think about starting in a community college. And the reason being is community colleges, their intro classes, I can speak a lot about Wake Tech because that's who we have a bigger partnership with, but I'm sure a lot of community colleges around the state, their freshman intro classes are going to be like 23, 25 kids. If you come to an intro class in most universities, it can be 50 to 100 to even 300 people. And that can be daunting for anyone. A lot of those executive function and organizational skills, meaning you only have classes on Tuesday and Thursday, and organizing your papers and those kind of things, are better done in a small environment and get those skills intact. So we have a lot of students that might start at Wake Tech and then transfer to UNC Chapel Hill. We have kids that go directly to UNC Chapel Hill or NC State. So it is an individual thing. But I would consider the community college route. They've done studies, at least at Wake Tech. The kids that start in engineering at Wake Tech have a higher GPA than those that started at NC State and then graduated, because they get that small attention the first 2 years. And the first 2 years are pretty much similar wherever you go, your basics. So I would consider some of those opportunities. Again, we have students that go directly to four-year colleges too. So it's individual, but just something to think about. It's a lot of executive organization when you're in college for every freshman.
Absolutely. Lots of great advice. I want to make sure we get to the questions. There were a couple in the Q&A that are separate from the chat. Nikki shared that she's hoping to get some advice for someone who has graduated and is a young adult. So we talked a little bit about some of those skills testings and things like that. Bethany asked if you need an IEP for the Catalyst and GIST programs. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Joann?
Oh, no, you do not need an IEP. You just need a diagnosis. We have kids with IEPs, 504s. We've had homeschool students and just a diagnosis. GIST will have a different, same criteria. Catalyst is funded through NC Vocational Rehab, so you have to qualify through their services. But again, they work really well with families in getting the needed documentation.
Awesome. Anything else? Someone said that their son graduated from William Peace and they were very great with accommodating his needs. I don't remember if anyone mentioned this, but UNC Greensboro does great with supporting neurodiverse students as well. It's gotten larger over the years. I know the question was around a smaller college. It has grown quite a bit over the years, but they do have a great program to support neurodiverse learners at UNC Greensboro as well.
Yeah, in Pembroke College, we've had students go there, but don't discount the bigger universities. We do have great supports at NC State. We have a great disability resource office. Wes Wade, who runs this conference, runs a great support group for students with autism. It really depends on how you feel you want to fit in different universities. So like any student, it's individualized what you think. Just make sure that you have those organizational skills. Those are key to success for freshman year. And build your skills. We find with Catalyst, our kids do good in college because they built their skills in high school. So it's never too early to start learning how to use Google Calendar and different other organizational technologies. You can come, if you come to Catalyst or other programs, we can show you different kinds of assistive technologies. There's great web-based, and I'm sure Teach and at Faithful you could learn. There's a great a number of inexpensive technologies, from the scribe pen to just web-based things that can help you learn in high school. And then you already know how to utilize those things when you hit college. And most are free too, so that's another thing. Yeah.
I was just going to say too, I think one of the most important things I learned early on in working with adolescents and young adults was, if it's not their goal, they're not going to be motivated to really work on it. And so really learning how to think about your goals and how to have something very concrete in regard to, these are my goals, even if they're not clear, you have some ideas about what you want, your vision for the future, shall we say. And that's really been a foundation of any of the work we've done in this area. And again, I think that is so important for students to feel, it ties in with self-advocacy and self-determination, all those different things. So I would encourage folks to think about just starting to have those discussions. That will, again, provide a basic motivation when things do get a little bit tougher at times too.
And the other thing I'll mention really quickly is it's good for kids to see the face of people that are similar than them. One thing we do, we've interviewed NASA people with different, with autism and different disabilities, and they see this face of success. And the face of success comes with a lot of failures along the way. I always say kids with disabilities make the best engineers, because engineering is hurry up and fail and figure it out. And that's what they do daily. You know, how to figure out things and problem solve, really great problem solvers. So, you know, our mentors that we hire at Catalyst all have a disability, and they're good examples. And there's no sense reinventing the wheel. So reach out to somebody who's similar to you, who's in a field that you're interested in, and talk to them about their route and how they became successful. I think that also helps students understand their goals, or they can realize their goals. And also I'm old, so I always say don't reinvent the wheel. So find out the wheel that they use that might help you.
Definitely. There was one other question. I actually added a response in the chat. Someone wanted to know about meetups for autistic teens. My colleagues might have some other recommendations, but I do know of one program over in Durham called Embrace Therapeutic Educational Program. They do a great job of doing like movie nights, particularly during the pandemic. So outdoor activities. They've done like movie nights, arts and crafts nights. They have different age groups of students. So they'll do some for the older autistic teens as well, but Jen Vrees runs that program, and I put the link in there. So that might be one option, just to have like a fun meetup as well. I don't know if anyone else has other recommendations.
I think it just depends on the area for sure, especially now that we're being able to get back out and be in person and not have to do things virtually. Because I have been fortunate enough to be involved with a variety of different kinds of programs to enhance social skills and to provide social opportunities. One that I'm involved with in Greensboro, I really like it because it's based at the Y, and it's based on this premise of find your cheers, if you will, find your place where everybody knows your name and you feel connected. And so the idea is that the students, the individuals, and this is for, again, adolescents and young adults, they have their own group, but they also are a part of the Y. And so the Y very much gets to know them, the staff there. And when they come in, they greet them, they feel like they have a home, and they get involved in all sorts of other Y activities as well as a part of that. And so I really like those kind of embedded programs, if you will, because what I've heard a lot of adolescents and young adults who are autistic, and especially those, again, who maybe have a different kind of awareness of their differences, want to be able to not just interact at times with other individuals who have autism as well, as they really want to branch out at times, but have support to do that. So I think, again, looking at different fits, looking at, again, your community and seeing what's out there. And if you'll contact, again, I'm glad to tell you about different programs across the state. There are a variety of programs. And I'll mention again, Nancy's here from the Autism Society of North Carolina, and they're also a great resource for a variety of programs like that too.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Autism Society of North Carolina, or if you're in Cumberland County, the Autism Society of Cumberland County, another great resource for social skills groups, where you're just having fun versus that training component of it all, because it can be a little daunting, you know, moving from one therapy to the next. So yeah, absolutely. Two great resources.
And the other thing, just don't forget, in high school, you can start your own club. So I had a lot of students start their own clubs in high school. It was a great way for them to be with peers that are in their same school. Anything from gaming club, I ran a forensic science club where all the students actually happen to have autism. So you can pick, you know, it's always good to pick something you enjoy too, and meet around that. And you can find like-minded peers, and clubs are free, and most schools have little grants. You can buy materials. So that might be a good way. And that's a great self-advocacy method too. They develop their own club based on their interests and meet a lot of peers within their school.
And I've seen individuals do this in meetup groups too. I had a person with whom I worked who started his own Harry Potter meetup group. And again, people inevitably who found it were a lot of folks who were very interested, but still, he just started his own meetup group. So lots of opportunities like that.
Awesome. Lots of great discussion. Any other questions? I always enjoy these types of discussions because we're able to just share so many opportunities and supports that are available in our community. So this is always a nice way to share that. So we talked about meetups. Any other questions? Well, how about our panelists? Maybe we each just give one sort of last piece of advice for our parent attendees here this morning, and then we can wrap it up.
I guess I'll start. So my advice is this: the sky's the limit. So dream big and just figure out the resources you need. I'm happy personally, and I'm sure everybody on the team is very happy to help you meet whatever dreams and goals you have. We do that in Catalyst. We're going to do that in GIST. Our goals are to support you and help you be successful, because you're the new improved model and you're the new ones who are going to help improve the world. And so we're happy to do this. Don't forget to reach out and ask for help or resources. Everybody on this panel has so many resources. I'm even jotting some down. We learn new things all the time. So please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you.
Well, I guess I'll go next. We're going in the order in which we started. So I think I'm going to give advice as a parent. Allow your children to grow and help shape them, but don't do everything for them. I think that's independence is really key. When I read the research and it talks about how parents, even for their adult children with autism, they are still facilitating like meetups and different groups for them. And I'm like, wow, I want us to really think about what we see for our children in the future and how we can facilitate their growth and to kind of step back. And my son is 15, and yes, I want to shape some of his experiences, but I think as being a teenager, he has to do some of the growing on his own. So allow our children to grow in different areas and develop and provide opportunities, and just see how things go. Just relax, engage in some self-care, and it's okay. Yeah. Right.
Such wonderful recommendations. And I was, this is always those big questions because I feel like there's so much. One of the things that I will say is that I think we really push independence for adulthood. And I really think it's more about interdependence as we're moving into adulthood, because we really need, I tell the students with whom I work, I can't fix my car. I don't buy all my own food. Grow all my own food, but I'm pretty good at knowing how to interact with others and get these things done and know where to find these things and know how to problem solve. So I think more and more we need to kind of rethink what we're doing. And that leads me to the next part of what I want to say is I think really this arena is about skill building for all, because I'm learning so much, and working with individuals, autistic individuals and their families is so important. So we definitely need to make sure we're all at the table together as we're moving through these this new revolution, if you will, of really trying to understand each other and build services together. So those are the two things that I'll leave.
Wow, I don't know if there's anything else left, right? Our panelists gave such great advice. I think one thing I would add that sort of touches on what each of you have shared is just giving yourself some grace, right? And I hit on this earlier in terms of how hard and how much you advocate to support your autistic children and your family members at large. And so giving yourself some grace, as you're learning more about how to support them, but also and giving your children some grace, right? Like you're learning about each other as you go along. They're also growing into young adults. So autism aside, I don't personally have kids, but I can imagine that raising a 18, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old as a neurotypical child can present its challenges. And so I think it's important to engage in that self-care, give yourselves some grace, find ways that you can take breaks and also give your children breaks. But also, as someone mentioned earlier, really lean into their interests. I've learned a lot over the years, having started out in ABA, which is a very sort of controversial form of support these days, and have really learned how to push against some of the masking that we encourage in autistic youth and adults, and really trying to understand, why is my child stimming? How is this supporting them? What can I do to support them, right? And really engaging in thoughts and activities and strategies that support autistic youth and recognize their strengths and really highlighting those. So that would be my advice. Any?
Could I just say one more quick thing? My
Absolutely.
favorite story is when I took the kids to MIT and they were all so nervous. And when they got there, the thing they said, oh, we shouldn't be nervous. We found the place we belong. So what I want you to understand is I don't even like to use the word disability. I call the kids out of the box kids. They're just out of the box of the typical education system or workforce system. And hopefully my view is one day the box should change, not the kids. That would be my ultimate goal. But right now we do have a little bit of box. So we teach skills so you fit in the box. But just know everybody belongs, and you know, the kids all felt they belonged at MIT, and who could think, you know, you just have to find a place where all your wonderful skills and abilities, you feel valued and you can belong. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate all of your engagement. And we have the link here in the chat for the next event. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.